In this video, we will study about the nucleus, various parts of the nucleus, their structure and function. The nucleus can be defined. It is one of the most important organelles because it controls all the metabolic activities and has the genetic information in the form of chromosome and DNA. Again, we repeat it. Nucleus is one of the most important organelles because it controls all the metabolic activities of the cell and has the genetic information in the form of chromosome and DNA. Under this video, we will study about the introduction of the nucleus, types of cell based on presence and absence of the nucleus, and component or parts of the nucleus, that is the nuclear envelope, the nucleoplasm, the nucleolus, and chromosome, and function of the nucleus. As we know that eukaryon or eukaryotic cells, you mean true karyon mean nucleus, are those cells having true nucleus, another membrane bounded organelle. Nucleus basically or physically separate the DNA from the cytoplasm and having complex metabolic machinery. And we know that nuclear membrane act or serve as a boundary within the cell. Based on the presence and absence of the nucleus, the organism or the cells can be divided into two types. Prokaryotic cells, in which the nucleus and other membrane bound organelle is absent. And eukaryotic cells are those cells in which true nucleus as well as other membrane bounded organelle is present. Another classification based on the number of nucleus within the chromosomes within the cell can be divided either a mononucleate having one nuclei, binucleate having two nuclei, and multinucleate having more than two nuclei. So based on the presence and absence of the nucleus, the cell can be divided into prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. And eukaryotic cell may be either unicellular, and their example is protista and fungi, that some of the protist and fungi are unicellular. And plants and animal, they are multicellular. That all the plants and animal, their body is composed of many cells. The nucleus is the genetic control center of a eukaryotic cell. In most cells, there is only one nucleus, while in some organism, two nuclei is present within the cell, which is known as binucleate, and the nucleus which is present singly within the cell, they are known as mononucleate. And the cell having more than two nuclei, they are known as a multinucleate. It is spherical and the most prominent part of the cell, making of 10% of the cell volume. And the shape of the nucleus, they may be either irregular or spherical in shape, and it has a unique structure and function that is essential to the cell. Average diameter of the nucleus is 6 to 10 micron meter, which occupy around 10% of the cell volume. Parts of the nucleus, or we can say structure of the nucleus: nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, chromatin or chromosome in the form of DNA and protein. Ultrastructure of the nucleus basically composed of outer membrane, inner membrane, and nuclear pore, which is collectively known as nuclear envelope, nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and chromatin fiber or chromosomes. What is nuclear membrane? Also known as nuclear envelope or nucleolema. Separate the nucleus or separate the nuclear material from cytoplasm, or we can say it separate the nucleus from the cytoplasm, and consists of two lipid bilayer membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. The nuclear envelope is double layered membrane perforated with pore, which control the flow of material going in and out of the nucleus. The nuclear envelope basically control the material which enter into the nucleus and the material which leave the nucleus and enter into the cytoplasm. These are the basic function of the nuclear envelope. The outer layer is connected to the endoplasmic reticulum, communicating with the cytoplasm of the cell. The exchange of the large molecule, protein and RNA, between the nucleus and cytoplasm happens here. Function of the nuclear membrane. As we have studied, or we have told that shape and stability help the nucleus from collapsing, separate the nuclear material from cellular material, allow the exchange of material between the cytoplasm and the nucleus, develop a chemical connection between nucleus and a cell. The nuclear pore, most distinctive feature of the nuclear envelope, small cylindrical channel which connect cytosol and nucleoplasm directly. Mammalian nucleus, we can say that mammalian cell have their nucleus the nuclear envelope composed of 3000 to 4000 pores. Inner and outer membrane here is fused, and the transport of various types of material takes place through the nuclear pore. These are the electron microscope structure of the nuclear pore. Function of the nuclear pore: exchange of material between the nucleus and cytoplasm, passive diffusion of low molecular weight solutes, and efficient passage through the complex require several protein vector. We can say that various types of material from the cytoplasm easily enter into the nucleus, and from the nucleus easily enter into the cytoplasm. So it helps in the exchange of various types of material within the cell. What is nucleoplasm? A jelly-like made mostly of water matrix within the nucleus, just like the cytoplasm found inside a cell. The nucleus contains the nucleoplasm, also known as karyoplasm. All the other material flowed inside. Help the nucleus keep its shape and serve as the medium for transportation of important molecule within the nucleus. The nucleoplasm is a type of protoplasm that is made up of mostly of water, a mixture of various molecules of organic and inorganic nature, and dissolved ion. It is completely enclosed within the nuclear membrane or nuclear envelope. All organic, inorganic chemical as well as the enzyme responsible for DNA replication and transcription as well as the synthesis of various types of RNA are present within the nucleoplasm. What is the nucleolus? Nucleolus is commonly known as ribosome factory because here ribosomes are produced. Large prominent structure does not have membrane. Most cell have two or more nucleolus per nucleus. It helps in direct synthesis of RNA. The nucleolus takes up around 25% of the volume of the nucleus. This structure is made up of protein and ribonucleic acid. Its main function is to rewrite ribosomal RNA and combine it with protein. This results in the formation of incomplete ribosomes. This is basically the nucleus, in which the nucleolus is very clear, and it takes 25% volume of the nucleus. Function of the nucleus is, we know that it is a site for transcription, assemblage of ribosome, and synthesis of ribosome. This takes place within the nucleolus, and synthesis of ribosomal RNA. What is chromosome? Chroma mean color and soma mean body. A color bearing body present within the nucleus of a cell is known as chromosome, for the first time discovered by Walter Waldeer. Chromosome contain DNA in a condensed form attached to histone protein. Eukaryotic chromosome, two broad component: nucleic acids, which is composed of DNA and small amount of RNA, and protein. And protein may be of two types: histones and non-histone protein. Again, histone protein is again divided into core histone, which is H2A, H2B, H3 and H4, and linker histone H1. The number of chromosomes for each species is fixed. For example, the man has 46 chromosomes, the chimpanzees has 48 chromosomes, onion has 16 chromosomes, garden pea plants have 14 chromosomes. So the number of chromosomes in all individuals of the same species remain constant generation after generation. Histone bind to negatively charged DNA, stability to the DNA, mixture of DNA and protein. Basic structural unit of chromosome is chromatin fibers, and joined by the linker DNA known as nucleosome. Chromatin can be differentiated into two regions during interphase and early prophase of cell division. Euchromatin, which is lightly staining, and heterochromatin, which is densely staining. The difference between the heterochromatin and euchromatin, that euchromatins are lightly staining region while heterochromatin is darkly staining. Less tightly packed chromatin fibers therefore non-condensed, while it is present in condensed form in a heterochromatin. Not visible, and heterochromatin is a visible. Genetically active regions is euchromatin, and inactive region is a heterochromatin. It replicates during S phase of cell division, and it replicates later during S phase of cell division. Guanine cytosine rich euchromatin is present, while adenine thymine rich nitrogenous basis is present in a heterochromatin. Function of the chromosome. As we know that chromosome is basically composed of DNA and RNA, and all the information necessary to control the cell activities is located on the chromosome in the form of a gene, which are transferred from one generation to another. So that's why we can say that it controls all activities of the cell. Information in the form of gene is located on chromosomes, control inheritance and metabolism. The nucleus is often compared to the command center as it controls all function of the cell. It is important in regulating the action of the cell. It plays an important part in creating the cell protein. It is involved in important process dealing with DNA and other genetic molecule. In short, we can say that all activities of the cell and the genetic material in the form of DNA as well as RNA is due to the nucleus. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid contain the information needed for the creation of a protein, which include enzyme and hormone and stored in the nucleus, as already said, in the form of chromatin or chromosome. The nucleus is the site of DNA duplication or DNA replication, which is needed for cell division, mitosis, and organism reproduction and growth. The nucleus oversees cell function and regulatory mechanism for keeping the cell healthy and alive. The nucleus controls growth of the cell through the synthesis of structural protein, transcription, DNA replication, as well as translation, which takes place due to the presence of ribosome, and ribosome is produced within the nucleus. All these activities controlled by the nucleus. The nucleus regulates the secretion of ribosome, which are made in the nucleolus and are the sites of gene transcription. Thank you for listening.